I'd like to introduce you to our next presenter, Ayshwarya Wilton from DCKAP. Now, as you might know, DCKAP specializes in e-commerce and multi-platform integrations. They've been a long friend with us. As you can see from the little picture there, we won their Ambassador Award this year, and we're delighted to have done that. So I want to introduce you to Ayshwarya. She's a senior business analyst and solutions consultant at DCKAP. She brings over a decade of experience into her role, and in her current role, she's focused on designing and implementing robust integration solutions tailored to the needs of distributors in the B2B and B2C marketplaces. Lots of differences there, so it's fun to kind of play between those, and so she brings a lot of expertise in those two areas. The growth here, of course, the goal is to drive growth and efficiency with her customer base. So with that, let me turn it over to you, Ayshwarya, and let you do your thing.
Thank you, Brad. Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you so much for your time. Let me get started with sharing my screen here. Also, a big thank you to Brad for that little poll. It's nice to see that the audience here, a majority of you already have your integrations in place. As Brad mentioned, I think, being working partners, DCKAP and Estes group, I think we share those same customers that he spoke of that do not have integrations in place, and they're manually going through and processing each and every order, entering them into their P21 system or using the scheduled import service out there manually. So great to hear about all of you being with the times. So today's presentation kind of caters to pretty much everybody who responded with the different answers on the poll. Those who have automations today, what can you do next, right? And those who don't have an e-commerce platform, what are the benefits of considering one? And also at the end of the day, catering to the world around us. Today's session is the P21 Summit. All of us out here are P21 users, but if we look at the bigger picture, taking care of your P21 system is one of the biggest, one among the many things that you'll have to handle as part of your ecosystem that you're currently in. So that's why I'm here to talk about, or rather to sow the seed of thought into everybody here on automation and integration within your workspaces to have a more holistic view of your day-to-day operations and drive efficiency from there. So thank you once again to the wonderful team behind the Estes Group. On behalf of the DCKAP community, I'd like to share my thanks and the sincere support and the working relationship over these past few years. It's been absolutely brilliant and amazing. And thanks to each and every one of you out here. It's going to be a wonderful joy to speak to you for the next few minutes, but I'm also optimistic that we would also like to have a chance to speak with you after this session as well. Right, let's go about a little bit about me. Brad's done most of the heavy lifting out here, but yes, I take pride and joy in implementing robust integration solutions as part of my current role within DCKAP. I come with 12 years of working experience, started off as your fresh out of college computer science engineer, self-learned and grew into a business analyst, and here we are. So glad to know and share with you all that the road has been wonderful, and I'm glad to be at a place where now I can be here to help and solve problems and just drive better solutioning for you and your teams that you represent. All right, let's take a look at the agenda. What can you expect to know and see about the topics that I have for today? I wanted to bring the first point out here, and it's kind of based on some of the conversations I've had with existing customers who come to us to DCKAP who look for an integration. They always say, I want to have my stuff automated. Is an integration important? If yes, why? So kind of made me think that this platform would really help me address the automation versus solution integration differentiation. Is there really a difference, or are we talking about synonymous words out here? So more on that. The current B2B landscape, most of you seem to have an e-commerce platform out here. You're catering to your end customers. You want to do something better. Let's take a look at what's happening currently in the market today all over the world, and what can we expect in the years to come. A more tailor-made discussion about, since most of us or all of us out here are pretty much P21 users, why are integrations critical for P21 users? Brent already talked about, as part of his session, about the P21 middleware. So P21 itself is keeping up with the times, listening to customers, knowing that there is a need to have systems connected. What are the benefits, and especially why in today's times it's so important to have your Prophet 21 system connected across your other platforms that you use. A little up and coming buzzword that I seem to find bubbling up these days, it's known as the low effort experience, especially if you're someone who's catering towards the customer, or you could be catering to another set of, you could be a wholesaler distributing your products to other customers who therefore go and distribute to an end user. So what is the low effort experience all about, and how it might potentially change the game? So we'll get to hear more about that. A little bit about DCKAP and the integration platform that we have, just a little sneak peek about it towards the end. And of course, I'd love to hear back from you, either through the form of questions, or even just if you're thinking about out loud that, hey, this is what we're currently seeing, what can we expect in the coming times? Would an integration solve this problem, or any thoughts or feedbacks that you might have? I'm curious to hear about them at the end of the session. Okay, I always have a few quotable quotes, something to kind of fix our mindset over the next few minutes as we talk through some of these topics. I wanted to extract a quotable quote from Warren G. Bennis. I have read one of his books many years ago. It was called Learning to Lead. It was during those times when I was trying to come out of the nerdy computer engineer times that I've experienced, coming out of that workspace into being a business analyst and talking to people, really conversing and engaging in driving solutions. So here's one of my favorite quotes that I wanted to share. And it talks about, in life, change is inevitable. Things happen, times change, and as we learn and grow, we adapt with the times. But in business, change is vital. So you would have heard in Brent's conversation with you as well on when you upgrade your P21 versions from one of the 4.5 versions to a 2023 version, what happens? What are you going to miss out, and so on. So even in software versioning, there seems to be places for for growth, for adding new features, for just working and playing along with the times. So here's a little food for thought before we step into our topics for today. So we talked about the two buzzwords, automation and integration. Are they really the same? From what I hear, they are the most common and the most abused words today, because everybody talks about even another term that we have, and it's called digital transformation. Everybody wants to get in the groove and in the times of it. So are they really two different things? The short answer is, they are basically two sides of the same coin. So to help today's presentation, what I did was, I'll show you the conclusion point, and it was beautifully stated by one of the leaders at Workato. And Mr. Massimo said that automation is the goal for today, but integration is the means. So what does it mean that, why do we talk about automation more? So by definition, if you had to look at the Oxford Learner's Dictionary, it says automation means the use of machines and computers to do work that was previously done by people like you and me. We would have gone to a whiteboard, we would have drawn a process out there, and then the next step would be, hey, we have a working process in place, let's automate it. You would have been at a cafe, you would have thought of a few business ideas, you would have jotted it down at a piece of tissue along with your cup of coffee. Your idea is, when I go back to the office, I want to present this idea, and it's going to be automated. That's going to be the next big thing for my team, right? So knowing that automation and integration now go hand in hand, what are the benefits? What do you see when you have all these different systems connected? The poll showed me that most of you do work with e-commerce platforms, the major ones that are out there. And this is catering to the sixth person that wanted to know what's an e-commerce platform. It's basically a space where you can go in, you can see a catalog of products, shop and place orders, something that you need. You don't have to walk into a store anymore. You can find it right at your laptop and your home screens. Get on the web, log into Amazon.com, log into Walmart or any of your favorite stores online, get the products that you need and have them delivered to you. Now, when you talk about the B2B and the D2C space, what are the other different types of industry or manufacturer based products that you cater to for enabling business operations, right? So the key business benefits that you see is your reduced cost to company. You make a one-time investment into building an integration, have your different systems connected. In the case of P21, you can have your P21 system connected to an e-commerce platform, or you could have it connected to your CRM, a Salesforce or a HubSpot system, or a Monday.com system if you have it, or you could even connect it to a PIM. So if you have a product management tool that you'd like to leverage to really enhance and build your product catalog, having these integrations in place is a one-time investment where you don't have teams or you don't have people with 4 or 6 hands to magically go in and take care of all the data across the systems, right? So having an integration brings that seamless benefit. Of course, the natural end result of having an integration is reduced manual effort. You don't have to go Brad was talking about the example of customers, many of them who have sales orders coming in through, business is booming, but operations are getting heavy. You have to go in, place those orders into your P21 systems, enter them manually, and then start the pick, pack, ship process and talk to the warehouse teams. Sounds like a lot of work and a very busy day. How can we help you make it better and make it more easier and more efficient for you? Having an integration would reduce that manual effort by a load. Improve data quality across the systems. In today's times, data is key. Data is so important, and there's a lot of among us through our systems these days. So how can we ensure that there is clean data that is available across our systems? Building robust integrations is key. Ensuring that the sales order information that's being picked up from your e-commerce platform being set up by the integration into your P21 system, ensuring there's no data loss, ensuring that all the right quantities and prices and everything's been defined and created correctly within the P21 system is the goal and the responsibility of the integration. So having that workload taken off from a human and being placed into a little bit of a machine, it adds great value. Increased efficiency all across the board. I don't have to speak more on this. I believe this is one of the natural success factors when it comes to building an integration, just having an everyday better working life. When it comes to having an integration in place, you don't have to take care of too many things. Once you have this efficiency in place, you have the free time to then think, what's next? What's the next big thing that I can focus on? And that, of course, is analytics and reporting. Data science is huge today. Um, Everybody wants to see massive reports on, okay, this is the trends. These are what people are buying today. What can I do better to cater towards my customers? What can I do better to cater to the growth and health of my own team in terms of operation efficiency? So analytics and reporting will be beneficial in this space. With reporting comes enhanced visibility. You would have visible access to, you don't have to go step into your warehouses to actually see the products out there and see what's happening. You get to see it at your seat, at your desk, in the form of a reporting spreadsheet. Because the data has already been sent to your localized systems, therefore reporting runs, you get to have more visual status and access to what's it looking like? How's today's sales? Are we making growth? Are we seeing profits? How's operations? Do we need to talk to more vendors? How can we be a better supplier out there? Here are some of the benefits that you will see. Okay, so we've talked about automation, integration. Now that you know it's two sides of the coin, let's put that aside. Let's see what's out there in the world today. The current B2B landscape is changing, and we have to accept it. Gone are the days where the key customer or the end user is always the people who make up the baby boomers, the Gen X. Today, it's all about catering towards the millennials. Fun fact, I may or may not be a millennial. Hashtag 90s baby, so that's me. Today, 73% of millennials are the core audience looking towards the B2B buying process and making an early impact towards the growth of e-commerce all over the world. There's a steady rise in digital marketing, using marketing platforms like MailChimp, Salesforce, HubSpot, what have you, really help to drive knowing who your customer base is, what best you can do to cater towards them, and making it a whole lot cooler. The omni-channel upgrade. So today we have credit cards reigning supreme in the market today. Gone are the days when somebody has to pay by a check. I don't see a check anymore these days. I would be surprised if my own kids would see a check and say, hey, what's that? Right? So, but with times like these, we are anticipating major players like Apple Pay and Amazon Pay also to make a steady impact with an online wallet, so that you can securely transfer and make payments online, swift transactions, ready supply to be within the space. And I would also like to be bold to say on today's session that within a decade or two, we will say goodbye to the plastic card, to the credit card as well, with the rise in the digital wallet technology. At the end of the day, and I believe this has also been heavily impacted by the pandemic, being at home, being at our closed spaces, but having that outreach to your people around you, people across the globe. How do we cater our businesses and tailor it to the global B2B experience? It's ultimately for you and for me who's out here. Global B2B today has been taking a serious look at machine learning and AI now that we have seen integrations in place. And I think this is also the next big thing of those who already have a integration in place. And it's a majority of you today. Having machine learning and AI generate your next steps, generate what the process would look like is the next big thing for today. So how do you enhance customer engagement? How do you give ready responses to your customers for any curious questions that they have? If they, for a normal B2C experience, they would say, hey, do you have this in red? And You could have a machine bot that would talk to your P21 ERP, look at the item maintenance catalog. It happens to see that you might have placed a purchase order for a few red socks out there, and you'd say, yes, we're going to have them ready. You can go ahead and place the order. You will see it coming through and it would calculate if your purchase order is going to be fulfilled within the next day or two, then accounting for shipment days, it could give a ready response immediately for saying to the end user or the customer to say, hey, expect that we can send it to you within a week. And if the user's okay, then they'd appreciate the quick response, right? So having ready responses is key. Natural ROI upgrades. So you have a very well-oiled machine in place. ROI tends to be the natural form of success for you and your businesses. This is also keeping up with the times. Having AR and VR and social media, it's not just for B2C, surprisingly, even B2B. A lot of us use Instagram, a lot of us use LinkedIn, a lot of us use a lot of different social platforms that's up and coming. So how can we get the user's attention to say, hey, I'm here to make your business grow and be beneficial. Come talk to us and get to know more information. A lot of us are moving online. The data is out there. So how can we build a personalized virtual experience for our end users and our customers? So that's the current metrics of the current B2B landscape today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how your businesses are doing and what's the direction that you're planning to take now that you have an integration in place. Or if you are looking forward to having one, here are the next steps that you can most likely work towards. Next, we're going to talk about why integrations are critical for P21 users. So we've seen how automation and integration is all going to be the same. We've seen B2B, we've seen the exciting metrics out there. We can see there's a scope for growth, for learning, for better opportunities. How will an integration play an integral role for us having our P21 systems connected? Through some insights, we have noticed that there are 33% of your systems in your local ERPs having data that consists of your customer base, your distributors and your suppliers, your logistics providers, and even your manufacturers as well. A lot of this data is currently being maintained within your ERP. This data is also not data that's pretty much owned by your teams and your company. It's data that is outsourced. It's your customers, the customer base that you have. It's your logistics providers, the manufacturers, everything that's been sourced out from external sources and being set up within your P21 system. Of course, the product catalog that you might have, the financial general ledgers that you build are all within your scope and space. But this is a significant portion that we should not ignore. And it's a significant portion that's can be cumbersome to maintain. So having an integration in place, especially when your vendors have their own systems and their access and information, when your customers come through an e-commerce platform, or if you have your sales teams working with the CRM to better manage customer access and data, or just management of your customer relationships, having that data integrated across into your P21 system will help you drive better reporting and better operations within your teams. So with the advent of course, with data analytics, of course, a lot of the reporting is going to be driven from your P21 systems. That's inevitable. And we talk about this today because we see a lot of businesses find growth in decentralizing a lot of your processes and having it subcontracted. Even if you want to have your sales team being contracted as a local agency, how can you get the data that they have within their systems get connected into your P21 system as well, right? So having that integration in place will reduce the manual effort and keep consolidated information within a single space that you can actively work upon. The new buzzword, low effort experiences. I normally call myself a storyteller when it comes to sharing experiences and working with different customers. I love to tell stories. I love to talk about experiences. And I wanted to take this opportunity to share one that would relate to how the new buzzword called the effort experience is rising at this day and age. So during the pandemic in 2020, of course, all of us were in the comforts of our homes and keeping safe, talking to our families on social media, on WhatsApp. So everybody had to step away from being in their offices as part of their usual work days, but instead being at home with your family, your kids, your pets, and your cats and dogs, and whatever your hobbies as well. It became a whole space of how do I balance all this? How do I balance my office at home and my kids and my everybody? How do I just keep everyone happy? For that, my brother sent this WhatsApp forward to us during the pandemic. And this was the result of him trying to bring in that balance. And he said, hey, Alexa, please raise the kids, right? So with modern technology, he wanted to find the right balance with taking care of the home and taking care of work as well. So this is the best way I wanted to introduce the low effort experience out here. How can we make machines and how can we make ourselves learn and do better with the minimal effort from our end users and customers? At the end of the day, when it's about business, when it's about building e-commerce, building distribution, you're catering towards that one end users. You want to bring them a smile, you want to bring them good value with whatever you're providing. How do we make them have a very seamless and effortless experience when they work and build a relationship with you and the business that you represent? So low effort experience is about making things personalized so that you're on a mission to making everything personalized, even on a global scale. How can you make the products that you sell or anything that you, the services that you provide, how can you make it catered towards that person who is looking out for it? So there are a few key factors when it comes to implementing the low effort experience. One, the low effort experience wants you to make it personal. You want to make sure that anybody, anywhere sitting in front of a system gets to experience and see the type of services they want to provide. They could go into a Google search and type specific keywords. They're looking for specific things. How can seeing your website, seeing your forums cater towards their specific needs rather than showing them random articles and random products that they may or may not be interested? If you show it to them at the get-go, the things that they're really looking for, they're ready to buy in the next minute or two. So how can you make it more personable and valuable for them? The same goes within the same breath, I would say, make the experience accessible. So like I mentioned, they type something on Google using those keywords. How can you drive to make the things that they want stand up first and stand out for them to easily access, grab, and move on to the next steps of having that better shopping experience with you or having that better working relationship or building that better distribution business with you? Making it seamless. If they have questions, they want to reach out, put in a space where there could be an AI chatbot that could answer their questions, put in a phone number that they can easily dial in and with someone to speak to, or if there's a space where they can drop an email or even have a video call where they can talk to one of your team members, get the answers that they need, anything that needs to be tailored or customized towards their need. building that seamless experience for your end users is always key and helpful. At the end of the day, make it lovable. As much as you find joy in building your businesses, it's with the end purpose and mission of building joy towards catering to your end users, your customers, and your working partners as well. So the low effort experiences always make you rethink about the customer's journey model, from them being your prospect to your repeat customers. I want to cite a movie from a quote from the movie Godfather. There's this quote that said, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." But I say in the B2B market today, keep your customers close and your repeat customers or your loyal customers closer, because they bring you a sustained value, and they help you introduce through word of mouth or through referrals to bring in more customers and more growth towards what you cater to. So the low effort experience really makes the key difference out there. Give them a space for opinions, feedback, and needs to be heard, so that you are someone who's ready to listen and act on and tailor towards their needs. And the low effort experience also allows you to be proactive, to help you be the problem solver for your customers. Even before you feel that they might have a problem, you already have the solution in place. How can you take them through that journey? So that's the buzz about today for building those low effort experiences. With that, I'd like to introduce a little bit about DCKAP's Integrator. Just wanted to show you a bit about what we do and what we take pride in within the DCKAP community, and how it has allowed us and enabled us to speak to a lot of P21 users out here, and as well people from other different communities, because DCKAP's Integrator takes joy in saying that we are platform agnostic. So having an integration solution that can get connected to your P21 system or any other platform like your e-commerce store, your web store, your CRM, your PIM, or any customized solution that you might run in-house. We are here to help and serve with building business efficiency through integrations. What sets our integrator apart from other integration platforms in place? The DCKAP Integrator is hosted on AWS. Safe to say it comes with the latest tech stack in maintaining data security and reliable uptime with the data availability of integrations. And at the end of the day, give you solid and reliable data quality across your systems. Here's a sneak peek about what our integrator middleware looks like. We go by the thought process and design of using APIs. So I've heard in the previous session, there was a lot of talk about P21 APIs being leveraged. The P21 and the Epicor team know the times. They know APIs are being leveraged to connect different systems. A lot of you would have already have your systems connected, which is great. This is one way we do it. So when we have the APIs to your P21 system and the other destination system where we need to pull and push data, this is the space. All we have to do is put this little drag and drop feature out here that we have to get your mapping sorted for the different data that needs to move through. And of course, we have a little bit of customization and tailor making your solutions. So today, if you wanted to have only your approved customers, anybody who has been approved to log in and start shopping in your stores, especially in the B2B model, how can we just make the integration focus on those approved customers who have been vetted by your teams to be set up as customer accounts in your Prophet 21 systems? So having those tailor-made integrations in place really help with the mile out here. Other integration scenarios we've seen from our P21 customers are they want to drive omni-channel methodologies. Therefore, they tell us, hey, in item maintenance, I have all these different products out here. I don't want everything to go and be set up within my e-commerce store. How about this? Can the integration look at products that are under a certain product group because they are the target sellable items that I want to have set up on my e-commerce store. Can your integration do that for me? Yes, DCKAP's integrator certainly can. With this little space here known as the flows, Flows is an easy drag and drop solution that helps us to tailor make and tweak those integrations to ensure it is catered towards your needs when it comes to handling the data between the systems that you govern and run as part of your operations. Real-time logging. We're a community. We want to keep it open. We want to keep it transparent, and we want to ensure that the integration is also sending the right information from the source to the destination. So having that open view of seeing the status of the integrations, what's happening behind the scenes, you have that open look and feel out here with the detailed logs. Of course, we work with data. There's all forms of data that exist. To ensure data quality, we'll want to make sure there's clean data that's being sent through from one system to another. How can the integration stop any bad data that's coming through? It could be through various channels. Somebody would have mistyped or misspelled. How can we better help alerting an end user through an email report to say, hey, can you go back? Can you correct a phone number that was incorrectly added? Or can you make these minor updates to the sales order that's trying to be processed by the integration? So all those little things really help make sure that the right information is going across from one system to another. We built in a lot of user management and user group access within the integrator platform. It's not just for you and me, it's for every end user who wants to manage your integrations in place. We can customize and tailor access permissions accordingly. So, and right now we've kept it very simple. It's in middleware at the end of the day. Either you have access to run the integrations as a standard user, or have a more robust, more hands-on experience as an administrator, go in, tweak the integrations yourselves. And this is a platform that's also listening, learning, and growing. So we will put in the right features and as part of our product growth map based on the usage of the administrators within the platform. A few of our customers out here, most of them are out in the P21 space. So a quick shout out to them, and also a shout out to you, those who have been listening and being a part of this session. And that's it for me today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. I hope, like I said in the beginning, this session was all about planting the seed of thought. I hope I have done it. If yes, then my session is a success today. So any questions, any lingering thoughts that we can all take back from today's session?
Excellent. And thank you for that. I do have a few questions that came through. First question was, tell me why working with an integration platform partner is preferable to writing your own interfaces.
Great question. This again comes down to what's the best way I can outsource my work so that I can focus on driving my product management efficiently out there, right? So if you want to have an integration, a dedicated integration team, like the case of having DCKAP's team come in and take care of the integration work for you, then you have the opportunity and the chance to work on something else. Saying, hey, integration is going to take care of moving all my sales order information into P21. Now I got to start looking at some profit reporting within P21. How can I get that set up? So get busy with your P21 system while we have the integration connected and talking to other systems. So the platform is very user-friendly. There are opportunities where even you can go in, make your own tweaks, where we love it when customers themselves take care of their own integrations. That's one of our end goals and one of our key success factors when it comes to making a user-friendly middleware. But at the end of the day, DCKAP is a community that is catered to serving towards your needs to help you as distributors, you as P21 users drive better growth and efficiency. So
Excellent. I loved your comment about digital transformation. It's probably one of the biggest overused words out in the industry. Me and my team, we sometimes play a drinking game when we watch a webinar. Fortunately, it's not alcohol. Otherwise, that work hours. But if it had been, we all be under the table before the hour's out. Now, I got another question for you, and this is more my own question than anything else. What would you consider to be the biggest differences between the B2B and the B2C fields of e-commerce? Like, to what degree do these business requirements differ between these two subverticals?
Thank you, Brad. That's an excellent question. Um, it's interesting to see, based on conversations I've had with certain customers who now say that, hey, I have a business that's currently tailoring towards B2B. I would eventually love to have it more tailored and focused to B2C. So in today's world, I can see that the lines are blurring between the two customer groups. But at the end of the day, what matters is the business relationship and engagement. B2B spaces today have more tailored pricing and loyalty towards building those B2B relationships. So having contract pricing set up, having their own, you would leverage your P21 sales pricing library a ton for your B2B customers. Anybody who builds a relationship with you, who wants to be those repeat customers, you'd give them discounted or special prices by leveraging those price libraries. So how can the integration now go and connect to an integration or to an e-commerce platform so that that particular B2B contracted end user who's there would see the e-commerce platform having the prices and the catalog that's tailored towards them? The e-commerce, the integration would readily allow that a better experience and management for B2B customers on a web store. And of course, for B2C, it's just that one person who wants a pair of shoes or a t-shirt. They just want to go in, buy, shop, make it a quick, seamless experience, and they're out the door. Bringing in specialized discounts for them is also key. You would have guest prices. So here are a few of the key differentiating factors that I've seen with customers from the B2B space and B2C space. Like I said, the lines are blurring so that it's going to be a whole lot more uniform across the platform. I also want to add on that this has allowed distributors to also have direct connection to end users and customers. So D2C is also booming. Players like 3M are doing very well in that space. So here are some of those key differentiating points that I've seen. And yeah.
Excellent. Now, in terms of like the advent of credit card processing and e-commerce, those have always been kind of joined at the hip from the beginning. Do you see that relationship evolving over time? I'm assuming from a security standpoint, some of that must be changing. What have you seen in that specific area?
Awesome. Thank you for that question, Brad. Within payment integrations, we've seen a lot of concerns and a lot of thought that goes into play with security. Yes, as we build and as we put in the fancy features and functionality to our system, behind the scenes, there's always the thought process of better efficiency and better security when it comes to building these functional aspects. A user wants to click a button and hit the pay button, and he shouldn't wait crossing his fingers and hoping that the payment goes through. It comes with a trust that he clicks the pay button, he's out of there, and he's going to expect his products to come through. The payment is made successfully, and all is well. So today's world, a lot of payment platforms bring in a wider scope and a wider range of allowing credit cards from different banking systems, different payment modes. Payment terms is still sort of one of the commonly used payment modes, but yes, security definitely is key. Irrespective of whether it is payment information or your sales order information, security is the need of the hour everywhere. It is being catered to. It is being talked about with other technical sessions outside. So yeah, I hope that helped answer the question.
It does. That does. Kind of continuing on the topic of security, we talked with one customer that had a recent situation where their e-commerce system, and this was not DCKAP, different system, ended up being an attack vector. It was not it was more like a overload attack where the e-commerce platform was used to repeatedly spam the organization with orders, ended up creating a big mess of bad data that managed to get in through the e-commerce system. Now, whenever you have a third-party integration, especially one that's broadly distributed to a wide network, what are some of the concerns that say DCKAP, for instance, would do to try to prevent security problems from letting hackers and such turn that into like an attack vector?
Thank you, Brad. And this is where it's not one of the key features shown, but if anybody of you were interested to have a conversation with us in DCKAP, we'd love to show you more features within DCKAP's integrator tool. We have a health monitor checkup for any system that's being connected. It would ping your servers to make sure it is active. It will at the same time behind the scenes run to ensure that there are not too much of API calls being made unnecessarily. The data that is being transferred is authenticated and authorized information that moves from your e-commerce store to your P21 system. And of course, the logging, the comprehensive logging, any information that is being transmitted through the integrator is being logged. We have two forms of logs, the easy to read. Not everybody comes with a computer science degree who wants an integration. So having the logs that have more user-friendly and layman-friendly readability, as well as developer or what we call as console logs, will help us and your technical IT folks also step in to monitor and see the logs to ensure that there is no suspicious data that is actually being pulled through. I'd like to use this time also to kind of share a little testimony that we had one of our customers come in earlier this year. They were subjected to major DDoS attacks. They had taken, I think, close to a good year to recover from it. And they came with a very skeptical mind, walking through virtually into DCKAP's doors. We had to carefully take them through the process and show them the benefits of what the DCKAP integrator provides, what can they expect by running this external integration, and how can they have better transparency and visual insights on the data that's being transferred from they're on an SAP ERP. So from their SAP ERP to their e-commerce platform, having all those insights in place, we're now building integrations for them. They gave it a lot of thoughts. We put in and boosted their confidence as much as possible. And I'm glad to share here that they are currently building integrations with us, and we wish them all the best. And it's been great to have be their point of success in them wanting to have their business operations being automated in spite of coming through with some negative or challenging experiences in the past. They wanted to overcome it. They still want to get on the times and do better. So we're happy to be part of their solution. So thank you, Brad, for that question. It's really nice that I can share this as well.
Sure. One just came through on the feed. How does the integrator handle taxation?
Oh, excellent question. If you happen to have taxation through extensions, we can pick up the data directly from said extension. We've worked a lot with Avalara. Avalara is very familiar with us, and other tax extension modules like TaxCloud. We're very familiar with those systems, so we can have direct connections with those systems. If you have something very specific and tailorized, some of our Canadian customers, they may have their own set of governing rules and tax rules that need to be in place. The DCKAP's integrators flows, the customized space that I showed, has the the working space where you can put in and define your tax rules, so that every time integration has to move sales order information through into your P21 system, we can refer the tax table, the tax rules that's built as part of your customized flows to calculate and say, okay, this is the shipping address is tax code, or the ship code is right here. This is the PIN number. What's their relevant tax rate? Here's the tax rate that needs to be applied when we're creating the sales order in P21. So flows are the right space where we have built these tax rules, but a lot of extensions, they themselves come with APIs provided, APIs in the form of REST, JSON, and in today's day and age, GraphQL, we are ready to adapt and integrate directly with those tax tables that you might build out there in those extensions.
Excellent, excellent. Now I have one last question here before we head to break. So I had a question about with integrated solutions like e-commerce. Does the presence of a bunch of integrated third-party systems with an ERP, does the ERP system stay that single point of authority when it comes to data, or do you find that there are certain data elements that become distributed, for lack of a better term?
Thank you, Brad. Great question. Yes, through conversations with past prospects and even existing clients, a lot of them do use ERPs, and especially P21 users, they'd like to use P21 as their source of truth or their comfort space when it comes to maintaining a large chunk of the data. But in the metrics that I've shown, you would have seen that 33% or a large portion of them is coming from a sort of an external source, be it their customer data or their vendor management, the vendor details or the supplier details. A lot of it is coming from an external source. So how can the integrator help channel and either bring them in to P21, or if you have a use case where you want to drive better customer engagement and you want to understand your customer base and you want to drive that specific portion of it in your CRM, how can the integration shift a portion of that data and integrate it, send it out there to be set up, and then have some reporting drive within that CRM? So ultimately, it depends on there's no one right answer. It just boils down to how is your system defining their scope of success? Is it by having everything built within the ERP, or is it by decentralizing, distributing it with different ownership across the teams and having an integration to make sure that all the data is being sent to the right spot so that the right teams work at the right spaces for efficiency all across the board? So my answer is that completely depends on your company's vision and definition of success.